We are creating the world we're now living in. We are competing in. We are repeating in. We are believing in. It's time for us to shift our mind from best in the world to best for the world. Make decisions intentional, to take decisions intentional, making decisions intentional. Make decisions intentional, to take decisions intentional, making decisions intentional. It creates a new world to mind a shift, intentionality, perceptuality, conceptuality. We are choosing to shift our mind to best for the world, best for our world. Make decisions intentional, to take decisions intentional, making decisions intentional. Make decisions intentional, to take decisions intentional, making decisions intentional.
Okay, welcome to this picture poetry session. And the idea here is to show pictures of, well, we'll see what they're of, but pictures that we reflect upon, pictures taken by me. My name is Roland. I'm a photographer and picture poet. And with me tonight, I have Jonas.
Hello, everybody.
And we also have Nick in the session today. So let's start with this first one here. I'll just take a seat here so I can be a bit more comfortable. All right, so here we have something.
Okay. Well, hi everybody, and thank you for being part of this exciting improvised little session of Images Talking. Okay, we have, are we going like for staying with the one picture here now, or are we in a flow?
No, we were just testing the switching here. So we will take one picture at a time, I think.
Okay, great.
That's the idea. So let's start with this one here. And I think I'll just leave it to either of you to just share
start, Nick?
Whatever comes.
Yeah. I love this image. It's brilliant magic. You were mentioning reflections here in an image, and it's definitely this one with the patterns. But interestingly, with this image, it gives so many dimensions. It could easily, when you say reflections, this could actually be an image that is photographed on the water and being the reflection of the sky mirrored in a lake, in a very still lake. So that would be me like looking down into a reflection. Equally, I could just turn around and just gaze up and look into this little panorama of forest stretching in to share the space of heaven. And one of them is definitely like reaching in with this green context. Is almost, it looks a little bit like fungi also, like a mushroom with trying to stretch, and between the different trees you see that little border, that very soft border, which, and I'm very tempted tonight to sort of figure a little bit when we talk about the general theme of best for the world as some kind of filter, at least in tickling my mind. And what I see here is the sharing of a joint space, and interestingly, I had this discussion today with my son early on, and he'd been just reading a book and looking at listening to an episode, a webisode on trees and how intelligent they are and how they support each other for survival and share of the space, not only in the sky but also in earth. So he had found this little what he thought was a dead tree because it'd been cut down, but then and it had no stem, no leaves to get energy from the light. But then the other trees had been feeding energy to this cut down tree, so we were still alive. So they were sharing from their treetops, from their leaves, keeping this stem and the roots alive. And I thought I was such a beautiful sort of image of a forest caring for its inhabitants as in best for the world. So this just reminded me about this kind of one green tree, slightly ahead of the others, but then sharing the sky and the heavens and feeding that energy down into the ground. And equally, the roots would probably be equally connected if I were to look down. And maybe I am looking down because it could be a reflection.
Wow. Well, thank you, Nick. So, Jonas, what do you see? What do you experience? What do you feel?
Well, it was fascinating to listen to Nick's thoughts here. First thing I thought was when I was a student in Lund and I was going up to the university library. I've got some old trees there. In the spring, you have blue, beautiful flowers on the ground. And but also a couple of years ago, I was in Rome. I was at the Vatican State in the Pope's office. No, but in the what's the name of that cathedral?
St. Peter's, or
yes, exactly. And it was. I'm not a very religious person, but when I came in there, it was, man, it felt like God is mighty. I mean, with this building, and when you go in, when you're walking in a forest like that, and you look up and you see this, then I wonder, did the architects who made those big cathedrals, today they talk about biomimicking. And you think about the churches and the cathedrals with the stained windows and all that, and you look up in the forest and you see it's like a cathedral. It's like those mighty trees with the leaves and the branches and all that. It's really impressive, and it gives you a sense of being so tiny. If you go in an old growth forest with huge trees, it's you just feel so connected, but at the same time so not important, because nature is so big and so old and more eternal than a human being. You have trees there, can be today Michael showed me a olive tree that was probably 2,700 years old. They say that Herodotus or some Greek philosopher could have been sitting under that tree. And we live for 70, 80, maybe 100 years. And those big trees, they live forever. No, not forever, but for thousands of years. So I have this love and fascination for trees. Actually, a couple of days ago, I had put some chestnuts in a bucket of sand. During the winter, I saw this on YouTube. You put your chestnuts in a bucket, you plant it in the soil, and then day before yesterday, I opened it up, and they had germinated. So I put them in small plastic pots, and I now hope that they will grow up. So some of them might be beautiful like that tree one day when I'm long gone. It'll just be mulch in the soil. There'll be a tree that I might have put there. So that was my
very nice perspective.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
I just want a little one before we move on from this one, but there's another thing I find fascinating by it as well, being inspired from what you just said now. But when I look at it, I also see, you see these black branches, just the way the photo's taken, they're sort of like black into this, but they look like blood vessels.
Yeah, they do. Yeah.
And then I could just see I just imagine that the leaves is the skin of the forest, is the first thing that the sky is hit, like we humans, we would have our skins, and underneath that you would have the blood vessel that takes the energy down into the body and down to earth. That's quite a stunning perspective to see the detail of those.
yeah,
It's the same when you look at your lungs.
exactly what I was thinking. Actually,
it's the same.
Yeah.
It's the same kind of basic idea. Like make lots of branches.
Exactly. The
So,
branching out and the patterns, which are random, but still not fully random, maybe. And
To have like the maximum surface or maximum spreading out. So the trees want to catch the sun rays.
yeah,
And the things in your lungs want to get the oxygen, maximum exchange area, kind of.
and it's the same here. They're sort of maximizing the amount of sun, but they're still sharing. They're not competing. They're sharing the space. You can see that. That's why you see the small bits of space between the trees. So they actually share the room that's available, and somehow they manage to communicate and find their space. And then it's also interesting to see that one of the trees is sort of taking the lead in turning on the green leaves in the spring. I actually call this picture friendly takeover instead of hostile takeover. So it's a friendly takeover. It's a green friendly takeover happening here.
Could also be a symbol of the green way, leading the way when we talk about ecological and taking care of that.
Yep.
The green way.
The old gröna vågen that we had in the 70s, I guess. Yep. Okay. Well, thank you very much. Let's try another one.
Okay.
Different perspective, maybe. So who wants to go first?
It's a close-up.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. This is interesting. It's I was first thinking prisms, but it's not prisms. It's more like veils, semi-transparent veils, layer upon layer. And if I were to turn around a little bit, it could also be there could be like waves or water. Interestingly, at the same time, it's dancing flames, though they're far too straight in line to be dancing. But the veil feeling is the one that really hits me the most, and it's a kind of magic mystic in this, because I don't really know what it is, but it makes me really curious I kind of want to go through them veils one layer after layer to just see what's beyond these kind of smoky shades. So yeah, it's a very an image full of curiosity. And I don't know what, if one were to sort of imagine what would be behind this. Of course, I'm curious, of course, that this is a close-up. So what is it? And it could be like the straws, but in a field of little grass or something. Or but that doesn't really matter. It's just a feeling. It I want to go into that. What do you see or feel?
Yeah, it's a kind of pictures. I mean, you have picture, you see straight away what it is, but pictures like that, especially also when you have paintings, like you start to do all kinds of associations and you can see so many things in here. First, I thought it was maybe a field of wheat taken maybe at dusk or something like that, to have the blue color and a little bit fuzzy. You don't want to have it sharp because it loses all the magic in it. Also I think about anatomy, because the surface that is even more fuzzy. For me, if it had been red, it would have looked like muscle fibers, kind of, where it sits on the bone, and you have where it's attached on the bone. So, and also I'm in this microscopy course, so I just want to zoom in and see what it is. I have this.
Okay.
What is it? It catches my interest, but it's. I think it's a calm picture. I like the colors. I don't know if they say like bluish is a little bit makes you feel calm, or it just happens to be my favorite color. It's not blue, I can agree, but it's bluish.
It is.
Green.
Yeah.
Bluish green.
If you want to sell me something, just paint it blue and I will buy it. So I don't know what it is, but I like the color.
It is cool.
Yeah.
But also, it has kind of, I mean, I can make out what it is here, but it's the dual quality here of something really, really stretching up with all this lines yearning up. At the same time, with that bluish color behind, it got an icy feeling to it. So it could be like layers of ice and then the blue water behind it, could even be like a frozen waterfall because of the stretches and lines going down there.
Yeah.
So nice energy.
Yeah, I like this very much, and it's to me it's sort of the blurriness in it that actually makes this picture, and the colors, the bluish green. It's really calming and sort of gives a bit of a maybe icy or cold touch to it. And I like the picture that you gave me, Nick, with the veils that you want to sort of move to the side and see what's deeper and deeper, and also the microscopic aspect of it. It's the same thing. You want to zoom in and see what's further in the picture.
I mean, if I were to ask the two of you, where would you put this in your home or in a home? Where would it feel at home?
Good question.
Well, this one I could have in my bedroom, actually, in quite large.
I was thinking about the same thing.
Something to watch before I go to sleep, before I close my eyes.
Okay, nice.
What about you, Nick?
I actually think I would like to have it in my bathroom.
Yeah.
It kind of has this watery, smoky feelings. It could also be the if I had a hot shower, the fumes that turning into some kind of fog or something, and the shades and so it's for me it has that tranquil emotion I'd like to have in my bathroom. Also stillness, but then the watery feelings.
Okay. Well, thank you guys. Let's try another one. Oh, this is so much fun. All right. Yeah. Interesting one. This is different.
Very different. Very different. Yeah. Wow. He's definitely holding on. It's like last one standing. I mean, it's amazing. It's the top one and it's still there. All the other leaves are gone, but this one still holding on. And it almost turns into a little. I mean, I could imagine that being some kind of little dragon. Little, I see the eye and a smile. It's not a smile; it's a mouth, in a way, on it. So it has that kind of animated feel. If I blur it's blurred in the background, but if I blur my eyes, I could see this as an illustration in one of my children's books. At the same time, it has this barren structure of these branches. It's autumn, and there's still the one leaf holding on, stretching up for just a little bit more of the last little sunshines before resting over winter. It's interesting with that like shade as well that goes behind it. There's some kind of blurrish line, or almost like a cross, but not really. Yeah.
Yeah. What do you say, Jonas?
Yeah, it's nature again.
Yes. Yes.
As you said, Nick, the last one standing, and the leaf is like with this light, this color. It looks like gold as well, like a magic plant in a fairy tale, like with the beans that were growing up to the to the kingdom.
The beanstalk.
Yeah, the beanstalk.
All the way. Yeah.
Yeah.
What's the name of the last one again? Yeah.
I like this picture because it's very. I mean, it's fall. Nature is going to sleep. It's very calm. Do you say calmful? It's
Calm.
Peaceful.
Yeah, it's peaceful. It's nice to look at, and for me, many people they summarize their year at New Year's Eve. For me, the closing of the year is in the autumn when the leaves fall. You start to reflect, what have I done this year? And now we take the long sleep and we come back next year for spring. So for me, it's like it's bedtime, or it's time to summarize the past year. Many years ago, I had a friend who had a gallery, and he had an artist that he had made a painting. He wasn't satisfied with it, so he threw some. When you do rendering on a house, concrete stuff, he threw that on the painting. Just was bored with it. So by some, I don't know why, some reason he threw that on it. And oh, what have I done? I better take my hose and I wash it off. And all of a sudden, by accident, there was something created by this era.
Wow.
So he had so he, like many artists, they explore. It's not just make a painting. It's like finding new ways of expressing yourself. So he developed this technique, and they're very expressive paintings with the colors and all that. And I saw them, and immediately, I'm not someone who go to to art galleries, you know, just because I want to do it. I just fall in love with a painting.
Mm.
Oh wow, I would like to have one of those on my wall. And also, as I'm very interested in music, I thought, what about creating this meeting between a painting and a musician? What kind of music, if you're a musician,
Mhm.
would you compose for this painting? That would be interesting to
yeah,
give it another dimension. Like we got 5 paintings here, and we got 5 musicians interpreting. How do you say?
Interpreting, yeah.
Interpreting
Mm.
these paintings with the music. I mean, it could be
That would be a really interesting
adding
project,
another
actually.
dimension. We do it in films to
Yeah.
create the
The
certain feeling
certain
or
mood. Yeah,
reinforce the horror or the romance or
yeah.
excitement. And same with this, I would like to have a cello,
Yeah.
something
Yeah.
playing here.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is could definitely be a cello
Yeah.
playing some sort of melancholic
Hmm?
autumn music.
Yeah.
Because it is kind of lonely, that final leaf there.
Mm. There's some sadness with it.
Yes.
Hence the cello.
Exactly. Yeah. yeah.
But another thing that's a little bit fascinating me, and I completely agree. No, the color, that yellow color. If I look on this side, had it been turned the other way around, if it would have been horizontal, that would have been a flame. It could have been like a candle, and that last little flame, yet again back to the reflection. The energy in that leaf is actually energy coming from the sun, and the sun, of course, is a huge flare or a flame, and here is kind of the little last flickering light as a memory and a thank you for all the energy received from the big fire and the big flame up there before going to rest.
Yeah.
So and definitely a cello on that one. Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
Let's do one more and see where we go. Okay. Yeah.
Oh golly. Ooh, they're alive.
Look like this big bird. Struts.
Yeah. They're like ostriches or something.
Ostrich, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, they look hungry. Wow. And yeah, I'd like to put some narratives to those. They feel like they want to speak to me.
Yeah, he's the bad guys.
But if the previous one was serenity and calm, these ones are not.
Now it's more like Sid Vicious became a flower.
There's a lot of humor in it as well.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah. I want them to start to move, and then I'm just waiting for it, the center one or all of them start to move and then start to speak to me and they want my attention. Absolutely want my attention here. Oi. It rather feels like they're watching me than me watching them.
Yes. Especially the one in the middle has this big eye, like this angry big bird just before he's going to attack you, and with this full of self-confident, like stretching up, the leader of the pack.
What do we think about the haircut?
Yeah, that was Sid Vicious, as I said before.
Got the beard. and
Punk
the hair.
rocker.
Yeah. But it's a wonder. I love the color. This like icy blue, contrasting with the soft white blurry background. That contrast is and the contrast of if you look at the softness of the background, it's like cotton, or it could be a cloud or something. It's very soft and gentle, and here comes these like sparky, spiky things, which the dynamic between those two energies there. It's great.
Yeah, thank you. Well, yeah, it's just amazing how they look really. I mean, don't mess with these guys. They got something to tell you, as you said, and they're really spiky and yep.
Did you see that when you took this photo, or I mean, did you just want to take these flowers, or did you see the faces?
Yeah, that's an interesting question, because very often I when I take the pictures, I do not see everything when I take the picture, but when I come home, I discover new things all the time. But this one, I think it was. I think I remember seeing most. I mean, okay, wow, that guy. I gotta catch him. And so this one, I think it was quite clear when I took it, actually. But yeah, he's the leader of the pack, and his two. Well, it's his. What's it called? Posse, or yeah.
What would happen if you put a red little dot in the center of his one eye there?
Yeah, that would make it really spooky.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good idea. That's a good idea.
Remember that English TV series called the Triffids?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
It had this sound, you know, they were in the surroundings.
Yeah, they did something like this. Didn't
Yeah,
they?
yeah.
And then they moved around. They were really, I don't know, just.
Yeah, it was really scary. I was
Yeah.
just a little boy at that time.
Yeah,
12,
me too.
13
A
years
really
old.
crazy, very strange concept.
And
or
everybody
idea,
got
really.
blind.
Yeah, was that the same? Yeah.
Yeah,
They got
so,
blind.
Yeah, there was some kind of well, it was like snowing light, and everybody was watching that became blind. So the day after, everything was turned off, and the people who had been lying in bed having a hangover or being on the ground, they were just a fraction of the humanity that had managed. So they were constantly fighting against the Triffids.
The Triffids.
that could be a Triffid.
The spiky brothers.
Yeah,
Okay.
teenage Triffids.
Yeah. Wannabes. Okay. Let's see what we have more. Okay, so this is maybe.
Oh, okay.
Okay, yeah. What do we have here?
Yeah. This to me is another example just of the beauty of nature, and with this really deep red color. There's also, there's some orange in. I don't know if that's the sun beaming down into it, and these little white parts of the blades. I mean, it's red it's got its color for a reason, attracting attention, unless these are the leaves opening up to become a different color. But if it's a flower, which looks a bit like a flower, but it could be like leaves as well. But I'm a little bit curious also, if I were an insect, what would I see? Would I see the same colors as I do as a human? Or is there another frequency in this very deep red color? And what then about these white little stretches, which is that creating identity to this individual? It's reaching out towards me, absolutely. The way you took the photo. Unfolding, yeah, it's the unfolding of something. I feel very much like if the previous one, the yellow one, we felt like was closing down, this is opening up. So this is rather the beginning, waking up, rather than, and I might be completely wrong because it could be like in the autumn, but to me, this feels springy because partly with the other one, which is starting to sprout and open up in the background there, potentially.
Hmm.
When I see those colors, red and this white, I can't help but I think about some shellfish, you know, that is red on the outside, and when you crack open the shell, it's white on the inside. Like, I just start to think about some nautical, how do you say, some creatures living in the ocean. I see it's a flower, but immediately I think about,
like in a reef.
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
But I like the fact that it's also fuzzy. You see some parts very clear, and the other one are dreamy. Sure. It's comfortable to watch it. It's a comfortable picture in that way, and I think the color behind is also soft and friendly, and it's not a stark contrast, but it's still a contrast to the red and white. And then you can just guess what's happening behind. There's another white in the corner. There is a white part, white section. Before we spoke about which room we would put it in.
Yeah.
Maybe in the bathroom.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe that's because my mother, she used to work as a florist. So she has flowers everywhere, and especially in the bathroom, she has a lot of flowers and a lot of pictures of flowers. So maybe that's the connection I do. A bathroom is a place where you should have flowers.
You have flowers. And water.
And water, of course.
Yeah. Yeah. And what music would this be?
Yeah. Something sensual, romantic.
Yeah. I was just about to say, what happens if I put a sensual filter before your eyes when you watch this image? I got a very vivid imagination, but also when I turn that side to it, it definitely has some sensual aspects in it as well.
Yep. I think I know where you're getting now. Yeah, it's the colors in this one is really interesting because it is actually leaves on a rose bush, so they will eventually be green. But in this very early phase, I guess right now in March, April, right now, this is how rose leaves fresh rose leaves, this year's version look.
That was like you said, Nick, this is opposite
Yeah,
compared to the yellow
exactly.
leaf. That was in the end, this is the beginning, as you
Yeah.
said.
Very much so. All right. Thank you.
Can I just ask you before we leave this, but just yet again curious.
Yeah.
Does it have a gender? If it were to have a gender,
Oh, okay.
or cross gender, I don't know, but
What gender is this? Well, to me, this is, I would say this is quite female in its colors. Yeah, I guess.
Colors and softness. I see softness.
Yeah, there
in
is softness. Yeah, probably.
okay. Thank you.
All right. Should we do one more?
Yeah,
let's
I
do one
have
more.
no idea how we're doing for time here. But,
We can do one more.
oh, okay. This one I like.
For me, this could be the ground under the trees that we saw in the first picture, like the floor of the cathedral. Some of the light, you said, all the branches are spreading out, but they are not competing. They are letting some of their light reach all the way to the ground.
Yeah.
There's not an abundance of light, but there's enough. Sometimes during the day, the sun rays are hitting exactly the spot where these white flowers are growing, so they get enough photosynthesis going on, so they can. Some flowers actually want to be partly shaded.
Yeah.
So I'm just kind of doing the entire circle here, like the opening picture, and this is maybe, as you said, the last picture, like we could be back in this forest, but now we're not looking there, or as you said, in a lake with a, it's not the reflecting thing, but we're looking at what's happening beneath
On the floor.
trees. We're turning our eyes down, or from the side. We're lying down. We've just been on the back, and then we roll over and we see from the side, because we see this from the side, close up.
Yeah.
And as my eyes are getting worse with age, this is what I see when I don't have my glasses on.
Yeah.
Okay.
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 It's also very comfortable to look at.
Yeah, it is. Interestingly, the first thing that came to my mind when this image appeared was like Northern Lights. Northern Lights across the sky, and a feeling of a kind of concert. Both, I think, maybe because Northern Lights more happens during the dark time of the year, so the snowy feeling down there and the sparkling lights up on the sky during midnight. But at the same time, I felt it's a symphony. It's a concert with all these white light bulbs, and they're just throwing their light up, and the light is yellow, but the bulbs, they're white, and the little yellow bits in it, but this cascade of white beauty broadcasting this light up in the sky. I'd love to hear the talking on music here. I'd love to hear the and it feels orchestral. I don't feel like a single instrument in this one, because the joint effort of these just bringing this light and sound out into the universe. And it's a beautiful example of, namely, beauty in our world. If we just take time to stop and see it, and see that it is there. There's so many challenges in our world, and when we talk about best for the world, but also seeing what there is already there and appreciate that and taking care of that. And it's often little things, and if we can see and enjoy little things, there's so much more to enjoy. I have another friend who is a brilliant photographer, but in particular when she takes like real close-ups of things that we don't often see because we just walk by and we sort of catch it. Oh, that's nice. But if you really look close, it's like, whoa, that's not only nice. That's awesome. It's magic. And this image, to me, it's absolute magic of colors feast and it's joy. A lot of joy in this.
It's definitely joy, and if it's music, it's definitely, for me, it's as I said, it's an orchestra. It's strings coming together, probably a symphony, something like that. Yeah. Well, I think this is a good one to end this session on, because as you said, this is really about the beauty that's everywhere. I mean, this is well, you can say it's just flowers, but it's amazingly beautiful. And yeah, let's spread more of the beauty and love to the world. We need it, all of us.
We need it, yeah.
Yeah. So it's time to wrap up, and I thank you both very much for joining me here. And I feel so inspired to take my camera and go out in the nature, and it's the best time of year now when everything is sprouting and it's just bursting of life out there. So, okay.
Well, thank you for having us for this late evening imaginary panorama.
Yeah. All right. So thank you both very much.
Thank you.
We need to.
We are closing down. Thank you, everybody. If anybody watching us with us
so much.
We are creating the world we're now living in. We are competing in. We are repeating it. We are believing in. It's time for us to shift our mind from best in the world to best for the world. Make decisions intentional, to take decisions intentional, making decisions intentional. Make decisions intentional, to take decisions intentional, making decisions intentional. It creates a new world to mind a shift, intentionality, perceptuality, conceptuality. We are choosing to shift our mind to best for the world, best for our world. Make decisions intentional, to take decisions intentional, making decisions intentional. Make decisions intentional, to take decisions intentional, making decisions intentional.